Welcome to the A2theK Wrestling Show. Today, we are joined by six-time WWE Women's Champion, two-time Knockouts Champion, country music artist, and executive producer of NWA's first ever all-women's pay-per-view EmPowerrr.
Have
The
you
legend
messed up
that is
already,
Mickie
Carl?
James. What do you mean? What have I done? Am I wrong?
I'm a three-time Knockouts
Three-time
champion,
knockout
Carl.
champion.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
I blame Wikipedia. I should have known
That's
this
okay.
anyway, but still.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm going to go in there and edit that after this.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'd like to dive straight in if we could. Obviously, the main thing we want to sort of talk about is the upcoming pay-per-view, NWA's first ever women's pay-per-view, EmPowerrr. So the first thing I'd like to ask if I could is, obviously you're the executive producer for the event. So I just wondered if you could tell us sort of how that came about. Was this something you brought to them, or?
I think it just happened I honestly feel like it happened pretty organically through conversations along the way. And obviously I'm really close with Billy because my husband is the champion, but also they've worked just so hard and just, with everything within the NWA. And I've been quietly kind of watching behind the scenes because it's here at home, and I've known Billy for 20 years. And I think that just even in my own career, it just kind of magically happened. I think that was what I was really passionate about, and where I feel like is the best transition for me is like to really do something different and unique. And when I say that, I mean, I know women's wrestling and promotions and stuff have been done, but I think that for a television audience and for that scale and for a big pay-per-view, especially for, the NWA, which is one of the oldest brands still alive, like for them to host this first ever all women's event for them really, kind of sets the standard and sets the bar across the board for everyone. And so I'm really excited about it.
No, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. The card itself is looking, super stacked as well, featuring talent not just from NWA, but also others from the likes of AEW, AAA, Impact. Billy himself actually recently credited you for repairing the relationship between the NWA and Impact as well. How did you manage to bring the companies together?
Well, if not, much more with, I think, Impact than AEW because my history with there.
Of course.
And I have been a former champion there 3 times, Carl.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
But yeah, and just to be able to go there and kind of redefine my career as hardcore country Mickie James and so much. That it's just, in wrestling that we always cross paths along the way in different companies and it's been a long journey for me. And so I have friends everywhere. And that's really, really cool. I wouldn't say it's attributed just to me, obviously. I think that Billy and Tony actually have a very good relationship, even within, Rosa going back and forth. And now Camille showing up on AEW and challenging Layla and be able to present that at EmPowerrr. Like, that's really, really cool. And I think bringing all these brands together to celebrate women's wrestling and to celebrate their women is a really cool thing across the board. So.
Definitely, especially in the oldest US company.
No doubt.
It's great.
No doubt. And I think it's really, really cool. So if it's the oldest brand, especially now since Billy's, he's acquired the Mildred Burke belt, the original one, which now we can, she really is the mother of women's wrestling when you think about it, because she was the first champion. She was, and so much history of her own reign is forgotten through, the way it's written. But when you think about it, she was main eventing then the main event on the show as the women's champion, and that's crazy to think, that was 70 years ago. That's crazy, and then now to even bring back the women's tag team titles, because that was a conversation we had of like, there is only the one championship to fight for. If we have more championships, we have more places to showcase the women to fight for something. And it's the first time we've seen those championships in 30 some odd years, and to be able to crown the first ever, NWA tag team champions, the women's tag team champions of the modern era, I should say. It's pretty amazing. So yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
So obviously we touched on the inter-promotion work, and it's something as fans we've been, like, certainly in the last couple of years we've been privileged to see so much more of. Like from a standpoint of producing the pay-per-view, as the cross promotion element, has that presented any sort of unique challenges?
Well, of course challenges, because you want to make sure that you're doing, I always say, I want to do business with anyone who wants to do business with Mickie James and wants to do business for this cause, for this thing that I'm trying to build and do. And I just think that there's so many incredible women across the board, all over. And for me, I go, you really need those places to start to build that steam behind you. And we all have to be given that opportunity to be able to present that on a scale. And if I can do that for some women, and then they go on and become stars in their own rights and other capacities, that only helps everyone along the way. And it's just, it's fun to be able to do. It's fun to be able to help women, who are younger in the business or perhaps haven't been there yet, to try to help them find, that thing, whatever that is, that's going to make them stand out and be stars and be unique, and to kind of like, rally in that. Because for me, when I look at all the big stars, men, women across the board, it was always something that would made them very unique, that made them stand out, that made them such a beloved figure, in our world. So yeah, we're going to make some stars. That's what I hope anyway.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah,
obviously,
all the fingers, everybody. If you have
everybody
fingers, cross them, and if you do not, then your toes, please cross those too.
Now, I mentioned before, the card itself is super stacked. Like, there's so many different ones, obviously, that we're looking forward to. This is a tough question. What would you choose if you had to, in terms of the match you're most looking forward to at EmPowerrr?
Oh, that's not fair.
I know.
I think because this card is so stacked. I mean, you're talking about 2 championship matches, the NWA Women's Championship and the Knockouts Championship. Both of those are on the line, crowning the first ever tag team champions here, of the modern era, and that tournament to kind of go into that. The battle of the brands of Diamante, of Chica Tormenta, and of our own Kylie Ray, who I'm facing at 73, everyone.
Yeah,
I'm very excited about that. Yeah, she's awesome. So I'm excited. But like that, they're all mega talented. And I think to kick off the show with that, it's going to be so powerful. They're going to knock them dead,
Oh,
and then the cup itself, when you think about the cup of these 10 women who come from 10 different kind of backgrounds and walks of life, and who all have their own unique story. And it's amazing. And for them to be able to get this opportunity to not only be seen, some of them for the first time, but to win this cup for the first time, which is the first year we're introducing it. This is going to be an annual thing. We're going to do this cup every single year.
Fantastic.
Hopefully, yes, it's going to be amazing. And for them to not only win the cup, but then they get an opportunity to face the women's champion at 73, and could potentially be the new NWA Women's Champion. So that championship could potentially change hands twice over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's exciting stuff.
It is very exciting.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. And a lot of love is going into it. And it's not just my love, like it's a lot of love from the company aspect, from Billy, from my husband, obviously, from clearly myself and my team, with Jazz and Medusa and Gail Kim. And I think about those ladies, like everybody has such a remarkable career and broke down so many barriers for themselves and for the women that kind of follow them and follow in their footsteps. And that's pretty cool, because we're so different. We're all so different, and so we have very differing opinions on what's good and what's going to work. And so that's exciting too. And it's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been stressful. But it's
I can imagine. Yeah. But it's interesting you mentioned the likes of Jazz and Gail Kim and the like, because my next question was actually going to be about obviously they've been listed as being involved, and it was about sort of how important their sort of input and support has been, because obviously you're all very similar in the sense of like you're all very impassioned about women's wrestling, which is like fundamentally what bring you all together, I suppose. Yeah. But how important has their input been to this event?
Oh, it's incredible. And just their love and the support as well, has been remarkable. And I just think about all of our careers, and the thing is I think that all 4 of us for sure, and there's so many more that we really tried to be taken seriously as a woman in professional wrestling, you know, to be able to help build and get to this place now where women's wrestling is recognized as a legit thing on the card, and something that's powerful, and the way we present the women across the board now as true champions and what we're really capable of. But it took a lot to get there, and it took a lot of that's what I mean is like all of our paths are so different, and it's been really, really cool, you know. It's been cool. Yeah, I love them so much, and I'm excited for St. Louis, and I'm excited for us to hopefully over deliver.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Definitely will. So obviously, you know, EmPowerrr is also just, you know, a fantastic lead into what is a fantastic weekend of wrestling in the NWA. Of course, we mentioned NWA 73, the 73rd anniversary show of the oldest company in the US. Obviously, we said before you're going to be in the ring as well, which obviously we're really looking forward to, against Kylie Ray. How much are you looking forward to working with Kylie?
I'm very excited to work with Kylie. She's so good. She's so good, so talented. I think it's going to be a fun match. I think it's the perfect match for the first match back after this feel-good event the night before, you know, to kind of lead into the weekend, to lead into coming back. I mean, just think about the first matches that's going to happen inside the Chase after 37. It's going to be women's matches, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely.
And then to, you know, kick off, which is going to be so historic when we think about going back to the Chase and how much it means to the city and to the people of St. Louis and to wrestling as a whole from a nostalgia standpoint and from the history within the NWA. And then to just confirm that we have Ric Flair coming to kind of put icing on the cake for this remarkable weekend. And that was after the show, the event was already sold out. So that's cool. You know, so that's like something that fans didn't even know that we were going to get or that we were going to have. And then it's like, oh, by the way, which I'm so I love Rick so much, and so I'm excited to see him. But you know what I truly hope that the weekend does is just kind of give everybody just a new perspective, because I think that's one thing that we do is we present wrestling in a different way than everyone else, in a way that kind of does throw back to the wrestling that I grew up on and that a lot of people grew up on and that used to watch with their parents or with their grandparents, and can still go back and watch today, you know, especially for those people who, I have a lot of, like, you know, my dad and my older family who did watch wrestling back then, who don't watch as much now because it's just a different product as it's evolved through the times, but they enjoy watching because it's a throwback, and it's that kind of, we always say, like, you know, old school wrestling with a modern delivery, and that's really what it was. That's really what it is. So I like it.
Definitely.
Yeah, it couldn't be something.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, so do we.
Brilliant. So I'm going to go slightly off script with seeing your son. Is he attended any events or getting into wrestling in any way?
He enjoys getting to play in the ring when we're there. To watch it on television, he doesn't really watch it. He doesn't watch it here at the house. It'll be on, but it's just I think because he's seen it and he's grown up with it ever since he was an infant. You know, when I first came back from wrestling, even through doing signings and independents or like doing Impact at the time, he was very, very young. So he's been exposed and around to it. It's just I don't think he even realizes, you know, what Nick and I do or who he has no clue, you know, to him. And it's like, it's weird. It's just recently, he's going to be 7 next month. So it's just recently where he's gotten more like boy aggressive in that sense of like wanting to like play, fight, or anything like that.
Right.
So yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's mostly trains and cars and Legos and those videos as well.
Yeah.
Lots of Paw Patrol, Peppa the Pig. I watch a lot of children's television in this household. So
yeah, same.
No, I totally understand the feeling.
yeah.
All the same stuff as well.
Yeah.
So obviously you mentioned briefly there around obviously Ric Flair, his return to the NWA after many, many years, which is super exciting in itself. But, you know, obviously to have Rick there, and you mentioned after it was already sold out, as that kind of icing on the cake. Do you feel there's just like a huge buzz at the moment around not even just NWA, but particularly NWA and obviously professional wrestling in general?
Oh, absolutely. I think that everybody's kind of like knocking down their own doors at the moment, which is kind of cool to see. I think that there was already a lot of love and a desire to have wrestling back at the Chase. There's been a lot of people who have tried to make that happen.
Yeah.
And so the fact that we could make this happen and then everything kind of unfold as it has is pretty amazing. And the whole city is buzzing. They're very excited about it, like from the media to, even when we did the press conference in the hotel was super, excited and buzzing just from the press conference. And it's been awesome. It's been really, really awesome to see. So I think this is going to be I hope this is the first of a lot of things to come now that you've rekindled this relationship with NWA and the Chase and wrestling at the Chase, that this could be something that we could keep doing in the future.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hopefully. Definitely.
It's great. I mean, you can already feel that atmosphere from like you say, from the likes of the press conferences and the like. It's it bodes well for the event itself, and it sounds like the crowd's going to be electric.
Absolutely. And then they just added the fan fest, over the weekend to do during the day. And I think, there will be matches presented there, but there's signings and all that kind of stuff as well. And in the ballroom, when we went to go see the ballroom, it's just cool to throw that back because you get that old school feel of like that whole. And so it's really exciting. It's going to be such a fun weekend for everyone that's going to be there, but it's also, to watch it from the Fight app, if that's what, get that package, everyone.
Oh yeah.
Get it, bundle.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I said. I've told everyone, please get the bundle. Please tell me what you think and let me know what you thought of the show, because I really want this to be amazing, and I really want this to be a launching pad for something even more amazing, so
Yeah,
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So the next thing I wanted to ask is so we've previously spoken to Thunder Rosa regarding obviously what she does with the likes of Mission Pro and all female promotions, and it seems to be a topic that certainly in recent years Carl and I have often talked about on our podcast as to women's wrestling and sort of where it's going now.
Mm-hmm.
So I just sort of wondered, looking to get your opinion really on, do you think sort of where you think it's headed in terms of like, do you think it's going to be more women's only promotions or more mixed gender sort of wrestling, that sort of thing? Or
well, I guess it really it really depends. I feel like there's always been companies from Glow to WOW to Shine to Rise to Shimmer who've done a remarkable job, and there has been those promotions in Mission Pro and what those women have done with those all women's promotions and kind of even the new WOW superheroes, when that was it was cool to see, because I've been around for a long time to see like Kat and certain people or Amber O'Neil show up over there and just kind of present wrestling in a different way or present the women in a different way. I'm all for it. I'm all for everyone, doing that. And I don't know if there's a true answer to that. I think that certainly there is a market for women's wrestling on a television perspective, just because I think that there's a market for all kinds of things, and I think that I hope that I can present the show in a way that people will want to watch it on TV, and to want to see more and more of it. And where we go from here, we'll definitely see, but I think that there's a lot of opportunities in the future to do all kinds of stuff that's more branded around women, and even branded too, to connect with a female audience, which I think that's where a lot we don't have a strong female audience in wrestling, like, as much as we do a male audience, and that's the reality. So I'd really like to be able to get something to kind of bring those moms and those sisters who, kind of to have them more involved and a wrestling fan as well. And so then everybody can come. Everybody join.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
No, and I'm sure it's going to come across excellently as well.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So just we've got just a couple more questions. So I guess obviously you're of course still active in the music world, recently releasing the latest single Grown Ass Woman alongside Chapel Hart. Is the title a bit of an homage to obviously GAW TV? How did that all come around? Yeah,
of course it yes. Well, the funny thing is like the whole Grown Ass Woman, the Grown Ass Woman TV and the podcast and the show as a whole, but the song really, we had this kind of song idea in mind, myself and Brandon Green and Sean, who originally kind of wrote and started the song, but it had a whole completely different vibe. But we, as far as we used it for the intro for our show, but then nothing really happened. Like because I couldn't find the right people. And no offense, I love my guys who I write with so much, but it was really hard to find the words as a grown ass woman with them. Like I needed the right women in there to write this song with. And I met Chapel Hart, and they're incredible. They're so talented. They're so smart. They're funny. They're witty. They're like badasses in their own right, and they're breaking down their own barriers in the music world. I mean, they're CMT's next women to watch, and it was just fun. And we turned around and we was like, we just met and talked. And I was like, I have this song for this grown ass woman song, and I'd really love to, write it with you guys. And we honestly wrote that song in like 2 hours, and it was done. Oh. And that was it. Which is so funny because when you're writing and stuff like that you can write a song. It will take me a year to write one song, or I'll just never finish it. And then a song like that with the right people, I write it in 2 hours. We wrote it in 2 hours. So crazy. Yeah. Awesome. And it's so fun. And I think it's great that I'm so grateful Billy's like, it's the theme for EmPowerrr. But to be the theme song for that, but it's honestly, it was like the female anthem. It's a female anthem for all women everywhere.
Yeah.
And men. Why not?
Definitely.
Be a gam. Yeah.
So obviously you're incredibly busy at the minute with everything that's going on in the wrestling scene. So in terms of the music side, I mean, can we be sort of maybe expecting any new songs or a third album on the horizon, or is that
Yes. I've been working on writing and stuff this whole time through the pandemic, because obviously we've had a lot of time on our hands.
Of course. Yeah.
But yes, I've been writing the whole time through everything. And we obviously, I have more singles and stuff, but I've been with this next album, I've been working pretty hard on. Yeah, so I've been writing, but this next album I've been working on is hopefully all originals, all stuff that I've written on, all of the stuff that I've kind of put together for this next album. We have other singles coming out. We have the music video for Grown Ass Woman coming out soon. We shot that a while back. Yeah, we shot that like a few weeks ago.
No, awesome. So obviously we're based in Liverpool in the UK. Obviously you're married to a fellow Brit, obviously the wonderful Nick Aldis. I just wanted to know whether there's anything, ever lost in translation there between you two. Obviously completely different cultures of Norfolk and Virginia.
It is. Well, it's kind of country out where he's from. It's very,
to be fair,
actually,
it is quite country. Obviously there's certain things that, but I think that's what makes it special. It's kind of the blend. But I can see my Virginia kind of bleeding into him a little bit.
Yeah, nice.
But it's funny because Nick, Donovan will obviously has certain phrasing and the way he says certain things that are very English, and then he says other things that are very Virginia.
Yeah.
I don't even say American. I'm just like, it's very Virginia.
Virginia.
So speaking of the UK, so have you visited the UK much?
We haven't been back in almost 3 years. We haven't. We've because of everything going on.
Oh, of course,
so we're waiting to go back and visit. But yes, but prior to, we would always be back. We'd be back 2-3 times a year, at least twice. We try, and we'd alternate the holidays and kind of do one holiday back home here and then one holiday over there. So I'm excited to get back over there because
definitely
missed everyone. Yeah, missed everyone a whole lot. So, maybe we can do some NWA over there.
Oh yes, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be cool, huh?
Definitely.
We'll book it, and then we'll have to come.
Yes.
So have you taken in much of the British wrestling scene, like sort of when you have been over here? Obviously you come over for family, but
I've wrestled over there a bunch too, in between, like through the independents and stuff. I had wrestled a few times over there. So yeah, it's funny because I'm just now, as you get into your bubbles and your wrestling bubbles. I've consumed so much wrestling all my life, and I was very much, when I was back at WWE, the only thing I was really watching and paying attention to, because I get little television time here at the house, Um, so when I did, I was always focused on our brand and what we were doing and what and how I could be involved in those things.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And I would catch glimpses of what everyone else was doing, but it was the same when I was at Impact. I was always up and current on what was going on within our own roster and our own television product. But it's just a lot of wrestling out there right now. It's hard to keep up with it all.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's so many
much.
amazing options.
Yeah, but now that I'm kind of like, especially in this role, as we're looking for new talent and looking for all of those things, I'm trying to refamiliarize myself with a lot more stuff that's going on right now.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. It's cool to see everybody kind of defining themselves and making their own little marks here. So
Definitely.
yeah.
So yes, I think that's pretty much everything we had for you. Obviously, NWA's all women pay-per-view EmPowerrr takes place this Saturday, 28th of August. How can we go about watching the show? Let us know.
You can watch it on Fight TV. There's an amazing bundle available for both nights. You can also, obviously, we're going to be having the pre-show and all of that stuff live from the Chase. Give me this. And if you need those links, you can go to, it's obviously I'll have those up on my socials. You can go to nationalwrestlingalliance.com and find out all the information about the weekend. We're also shooting a whole full season worth of television from the Chase as well that you can get tickets to on the Monday and the Tuesday. So there's just a lot going on, and that's all available on Fight TV. So, and then you can always follow all the socials and get the snippets and the clips and all the fun stuff. The 411 on everything that's going down. Do people still say 411?
Maybe.
Yeah. we're quite British, so we're not sure.
Okay.
Yeah. We don't have the 411 on whether people are saying 411.
Oh yeah, you don't have the 411. 411 was the information on the home phones where you would say 4411, so you could get information, so you could ask the number to a certain thing, kind of like a receptionist. I don't think it's a thing anymore.
No.
Somebody please answer us and tell us if 411 is still a thing.
Brilliant.
But I'll give you guys the 411. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be an awesome weekend.
We can't wait.
I'm so excited. Thank you. And I just thank you to all the ladies who are coming to be a part. Thank you to everyone that's watching at home. Thanks for everyone who's given me nothing but love along the way. And I'm excited. I'm real excited. So.
Absolutely.
Sweet.
No, thank you very much. Normally I would ask, obviously, how people can get in contact with yourself, but in all honesty, everyone knows who you are.
Everyone knows.
There's no way we don't know what your social media is.
Just at me. I can't promise I won't block you.
No, well, honestly, thank you so much for taking the time for being on the show. Obviously, we are genuinely huge fans. Even if I didn't know it was 3 Knockouts championships, I'll never live that down. But no, absolutely. It means the world to us. Thank you for being on the show. Lovely to meet Donovan as well. Thank you for showing us that showing your trains.
Thank you so much for that. I'm so glad you guys were understanding. I have
no problem.
Over. I don't know if you really, I'm sure you do as parents. It's pretty much their house. We just pay the mortgage,
Oh yeah. Oh, pretty much.
Reside there, tidy up,
Oh yeah.
That's
they're like, legit, this is the only reason why we can do this podcast at 10 p.m. at night. It's like there'd be no other way.
Yeah, because they're little dictators is what they are.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. But no, honestly, thank you so much. We are genuinely looking forward to the show and, wish you the best with it. And yeah, we know it's going to be great.
I appreciate that so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yay.
Take care. All
Sweet.
the best. Thank you.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.